This is Digital Trends Live. I'm Greg Nibbler, and thank you very much for joining us. But joining us right now, we have one of the stars of The Office. You know him as Stanley Hudson, and now he is continuing this saga with a crowdfunding campaign to launch an all-new series. We have Leslie David Baker here. Hello. Thank you so much for being here with us.
Hello. Thank you for having me this morning.
There's so much excitement to talk to you right now, and I want to just start off with if you could give us kind of a surmise of what Uncle Stan is really going to be about. What is the premise of this show?
Okay, the premise of the show is it's several years after his retirement. Uncle Stan receives a call from his nephew Lucky. He's a recent widower with two small children, and he owns a bicycle repair shop. And his late wife owned a florist shop, which was attached next door. So Lucky calls his uncle, and he's having financial troubles, and he's having trouble with the kids, and he's having, all these difficulties that a new widower would have. And he calls his uncle and says, help. And Uncle Stan comes to the rescue to help. Now, Uncle Stan is engaged, and, his fiance is unaware that he's about to make such a large move. So he makes this move and comes to try to help out and get everything in order with the Stan level of wisdom and guidance and tough love and the whole gamut. So we're tracing the character of Stan's visit several years after his retirement. As you know, to retire or go somewhere else and get tired all over again, this will give Stan an opportunity to do just that. And after sitting up, being a person of leisure, listening to old disco music and hanging out doing wood carvings for so many years, you can only have a diet of that for so long. And when an opportunity presents itself to start a new beginning, then that's what a person does. So we decided to come up with this concept because I often heard at Comic-Cons what happened to the character of Stanley, or what did he do? What was his journey? He didn't just cease to exist. Now, 7 years later, we get an opportunity to see what else does he do? What were his interests? What has become of him? He didn't cease to exist simply because he retires. And this show will speak to a lot of retirees. What happens after you leave your corporate job? What type of life do you have? Do your wishes, hopes, dreams, ambitions, do they change? Do they evolve? Of course they do. So we get a chance to see this through the character of Stan.
Well, I think you brought up a good point there with Comic-Con, and we're just people talking about Stanley and your character because it's so beloved. Everybody loved those characters on The Office, and they want to know more. And I'm curious for you if you can think of any other series, that's been able to create so much content years afterwards. Because you have a couple of podcasts. You got Brian Baumgartner's An Oral History of The Office, which is going to be coming out. You got Office Ladies, Angela Kinsey and Jenna Fisher. Is there any other show you can think of that inspired so many people to create these things years after the series ended?
Not really, because I think The Office was so unique in that there was such a wide array of characters, a wide variety of America represented by the show, that everybody had an opportunity who watched the show to see somebody that they identified with, they either worked with, went to church, school with. These characters are so ingrained within our society that you can't help but wonder, what's the next generation going to see? What are they going to have to say about these characters? How are they going to relate to these characters? We represent the working class of America. We represent the parents of the working class of America. Their children are going to look at what we've done on The Office, and they're going to say, I wonder, is that what corporate America really is like? Is that what it represents? What are we going to do after that? What happens after that? So we move on with this one particular character that we may not have seen all of the insights during the initial show, and we get to go to Stanley, what happens after that? Stan 2.0. Again, what are his wishes, hopes, dreams, ambitions? How do his goals shift as he enters his, quote, golden years? You don't just go home and die. And since the spirit of the office will never die, the spirit of these characters will never die. So we look forward and see what happens.
When it comes to these characters, in particular Stanley Hudson, I wanted to ask a question of you. What do you think is the one piece of tech that Stanley would not be able to live without?
The one piece of tech. I think that we start to find out that Uncle Stan likes his cell phone. And you would think that having worked in an office setting for that many years, that he wouldn't like that, but he likes his iPhone because it allows him to have a window to the world right in his pocket, and it can go anywhere with him. So,
I think that's great because I just remember his computer getting replaced. A couple other questions here for you with this when it comes to this character, and just such a beloved character, and obviously you're recognized everywhere. What is the one quote that people say to you the most when it comes to the character of Stanley Hudson?
Actually, there are two. Boy, Have You Lost Your Mind, which is one that I wrote when we were doing that particular episode, when BJ, I thought he was trying to pursue my daughter, and Did I Stutter? Those are the two.
Yes. Another question here. We've got our Riley Wynn, who is one of our co-workers here at Digital Trends.
I'm listening
He's a
little
fan.
bit because there's a helicopter flying over. I don't know who they're looking for or what they're looking for, but
well,
of course
just stay live, and
it's live and they're live. As long as it stays in the air, I'm happy.
Okay, we'll cut away if we need to. Okay, so our Riley Wynn's one of my coworkers here at Digital Trends, and he's a huge Office fan, and he had a couple of questions he wanted me to ask. So I want to get these in. One was, how many crossword puzzles do you think you actually finished while working on the show?
That I actually finished? I don't think I actually ever finished any, because after you hold that paper in your hand for so long, it gets kind of, it's not the greatest quality in terms of the actual inside of it. So it gets sweaty, it gets wrinkled, it gets mushy. And after a while, it looks kind of ugly on camera. So I probably went through over, in a 9-year period, I would say it was well over a couple of dozen, I would imagine.
That were actually finished. A couple of dozen actually.
Well, no,
through.
Nothing was ever actually finished from beginning
Nothing
to
ever
end,
finished.
but that were used. So probably a couple of dozen.
One other question here for you. Now, Pretzel Day obviously is a favorite for all of the fans of The Office. But for Leslie David Baker, what do you put on your pretzel?
Oh, anything with chocolate and caramel and pecans, that type of thing.
Chocolate, caramel, pecans. So there we go.
Yes.
Well, we've got Leslie David Baker. I'm not sure if... Okay, still got you. So I want to say thank you so much for joining us here on the show. I know that the helicopters are flying overhead. But before they get there, just to tell everybody really quick, could you let everybody know what they can do to help make Uncle Stan happen?
What you can do is go to the UncleStanTheShow.com, and you'll see it on your screen at the bottom. Go to UncleStanTheShow.com, and you'll see what you can do in terms of participating to help get this show back on the air, so that you can see the journey of Uncle Stan and his nephew Lucky and his little niece and nephew and his girlfriend and the biker shop. And, please, we ask you, donate. We're a part of television history. We want to continue to be a part of your lives and bring this story and the continuation of Uncle Stan into your lives. So we look forward to hearing from you, and tell people about it, donate, and we'll hopefully get on the air.
Well, thank you so much for being here with us today on Digital Trends Live. Appreciate it so much. You're incredible, and we love the character. I would love to see more, and I want to see this happen. And thanks for joining us.
Thank you very much. If you want to see more, you know what to do, and we will provide it for you.